Back in February, I made a video on lucky scoops, and these are the kind of videos where a creator would put a lot of products into a very large container. These were usually makeup and beauty products, and then people would pay for the creator to scoop these products and mail it to them. These were a popular style of video on TikTok until about mid-2023. And in today's video, I'm making a part 2 because the content has shifted. It's really changed over the past few months. There are dozens of new creators doing a new style of video, and majority of these creators have popped up in the last 4 to 5 months. Now, if you haven't seen that original video, I would highly recommend checking it out. I think it's a fun and interesting video, and the bulk of the content in that video was focusing on makeup and beauty scoops. I'll recap some of the content of that video today, but it's just going to be a shorter and condensed version so we can get on to how things have changed or morphed. Would highly recommend you checking it out. It'll be linked in the description. It's actually one of my favorite videos of the year. That's saying anything. So the goal of today's video is to talk about the new wave of scooping content that has emerged. I'll talk about what I think might be behind this emergence and arguably explosion of this specific style of content. We'll also discuss when and how this content can become a problem. And this is largely due to its links to things like pleasure shopping and gambling. Let's get started, and let's start off with a recap of what is the Lucky Scoop. The Lucky Scoop is a spin-off of the Japanese tradition of the Lucky Bag. These are bags of miscellaneous items that are sold around the New Year time in Japan. According to what I read, it's been a tradition in Japan. And the tradition comes from, or the goal is to start your new year off with a bit of luck. Lucky bags aren't just found in Japan anymore, and they have migrated out of Japan around the world. There are Japanese brands that have strong North American fan bases that do the lucky bag, but also it's non-Japanese companies that have been making them as well. I've seen them with stationery companies. Stationery Pal is a company that I know makes a lucky bag, and I kind of keep my eye out every year, mostly out of curiosity as to what's in it. There are makeup companies that I've seen release lucky bags. Mystery boxes are also a spin-off or arguably a take of the lucky bag, and these exist in a lot of spaces too. There are businesses built on the mystery box or mystery bag. I see this a lot in the thrifting and vintage spaces, but I've also seen them on clothing companies and makeup stores. I've seen them with the clothing company Petite NYC or Petite Studio. I've also seen them ColourPop. Mystery boxes can be a way for a company to offload product that's not selling or to make way for new stock of the season. They also have the bonus of offering something exciting for the customer. Now, Lucky Scoops are kind of a spin-off of all of these things. Lucky Scoops emerged on TikTok in its early days, and they were around until 2023 when TikTok changed its gambling policy. I'll show you just one example of this original Lucky Scooping content on TikTok. I showed more examples in the original video though, if you want to see more of this in action. Some of these orders were huge. People scooping 8, 9, 10, even 20 scoops. The 2023 policy change effectively put a stop to this content. At the time, it was really common for these scoopers to go on lives for hours, and this was one of the behaviors that was really targeted in their anti-gambling policy. The guidelines really impacted the community because this thriving community kind of shut down overnight. Although there were workarounds to the rules and it was possible to still make scooping content, the demand wasn't quite there anymore, and ultimately the community changed. Some argued that this wasn't gambling, it was strictly entertainment. Other people argued that, even if it is gambling, you're basically shutting down people's businesses and their livelihoods with little notice. There were also arguments that the changes didn't shut down all scooping content. It just meant that people had to shift how they did things. So people could make the scooping videos with modifications, which is true. There is no doubt that the policy change affected interest. And a large part of the appeal at the time were the lives. It was the entertainment for people that was coming from the lives. Since 2023, this kind of content has become quiet. It didn't disappear entirely. It just was far less popular than it was. In my original video, I talked about a few accounts. The primary focus was on one account that did a few different scooping types, but focused on lip gloss scoops. I'll show you an example of her content. She operates on Instagram and TikTok, and her content, I think, is the account that most closely resembles the original scooping content. She also does lives occasionally. She is still at it and her content is still growing. So there seems to be a stable appetite for the scoops. Another example I showed in that video is somebody using Lucky Balls. I'll show you an example of this too. And they gather balls in a basket. They're kind of like Easter eggs, or you can like not break them, but you can separate them in half. Again, very reminiscent of the Easter egg, like the plastic Easter eggs. And then she'll have items listed within the Lucky Ball, and then she would go and fill orders based on these Lucky Balls. This store is a self-defense store that sells self-defense products. They expanded beyond the self-defense products to add keychains and mini bags and things like that. And it was it's still going, like the creator is still around. It's a very interesting content type. Now, let's look at this new wave of scooping because a very specific style has emerged. And it is, I guess, the closest to the self-defense video we just watched. So in these new wave of videos, you have somebody who is scooping beads. It's almost always beads from a mug or a jar of some sort. They scoop the beads, they put them on a tray or a plate or their desk, and then they have a sign at the back of their desk that has it's more like a chart, a conversion chart, if you will, of what each of these beads represents. So you'll see people get 4 purple beads, and then that will be something like 4 notebooks. And then that's the video. So instead of scooping into the vat of lip gloss or pulling out the balls, it's the beads representing the products. The products in these videos are also not as themed as they were. Like, what I mean by that is they're not all lip glosses or beauty products. They're also not majority self-defense products. Like, both of those stores have a stronger product segment that they're selling. These tend to be kind of more kitschy items. There's stationery in here, but there's bags and hats, there's cups. There's a lot of random stuff. Each store sells something a little bit different, but it's all overall cheap random stuff you could find on Temu or AliExpress. Let's watch one of these videos, or watch a few. I think we're only going to maybe watch 2, maybe 3, because they are highly repetitive, and some of these videos use AI voices, which grate on me personally. I have a threshold how much of the AI voice I can take, and I don't think we need to watch too many to illustrate some of my points. So let's get into the first video. This video, by the way, is 8.7 million views, and the amount of stuff in this video is a bit insane. So gird your loins for this one.
5 scoops order for Zara. No black things. Nine memo pads. 2 shoulder bags. 4 mouse pads. 9 hand towels. 6 plush pendants. 2 doll blind boxes. 6 stationaries. 7 socks. Hair clasps 2. 3 face wash handbands. 6 highlighters. 6 mini squishies. 2 cups. 6 hair clips. 2 stickers. 3 washing cups. 7 mini notebooks. 3 hair drying caps. 5 keychains. 4 cute notebooks. 4 card cases. 3 mirrors.
3 mirrors.
3 mini hairbrushes. 5 mini bags. 3 eye masks. Storage bags 5. 2 gel pens. 3 hair ties. 2 hats. 1 phone chain. Sorry, I left 1 bead and forgot to count. 1 sock. Eye mask is sold out. I'll change to 1 wash ball.
This is one of the most insane scooping videos I've seen on TikTok. There is so much stuff. So much stuff. It doesn't come close to so many of the other videos I make just on the quantity of this alone. And this creator has many videos of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 scoops. It's wild. So let me go through the entire list to make that point even a little bit clearer. We're going to rapid fire this thing. You're ready. I'm going to look at my screen because I got to read this. 9 memo pads, 2 shoulder bags, 4 mouse pads, 9 hand towels, 6 plush pendants, 2 blind boxes, 6 stationaries, 8 socks, 2 headbands, 3 face wash bands, 6 highlighters, 6 mini squishies, 2 cups, 6 hair clips, 2 sticker sheets, 3 washing cups, 7 mini notebooks, 3 hair drying caps, 5 keychains, 4 notebooks, 4 card cases, 3 mirrors, 3 mini hand brushes, 5 mini bags, 3 eye masks, 5 storage bags, 2 gel pens, 3 hair ties, 2 hats, 1 phone chain, 1 wash ball. This comes out to 127 items, all at one time. Imagine that, 127 items at one time. There are so many duplicates here. There are so many notebooks as an example. And what are you going to do with 6 mini bags or 4 mouse pads? What are you going to do with 4 mouse pads? This only really makes sense to me if you're using these items as gifts for yourself, maybe giving a little to a sister, to a friend, to a colleague, or you're doing a group buy or something like that. I would get that. Or maybe a child has a loop bag scenario, right? There's some examples where this could make sense. But if this is one person buying all of this stuff, which I just kind of feel like these videos give off that vibe that they're individual people buying them for themselves, That's wild. This specific creator made their very first video in July, and they already have over 260,000 followers on TikTok, and they have multiple videos, more than 5 or 6, that have over 1 million views, which I think is crazy for TikToks to get over like 100,000 views, but to get over 1 million and have multiple, this is very popular content. And as we watch more videos, I'm going to share how new or recent the channel is. All right, the next video we're going to watch is a video that has 12.5 million views, and it's from an account that has its oldest video from December 2024. So it's the oldest account we're going to watch today, and they're not even a year old. So let's watch.
Order for 2 scoops. That one didn't have enough, so I'm gonna add a little bit more. First, we have 2 cute pens, 1 highlighter, 4 gel pens, 1 scrunchie, 3 swirly hair ties, 1 keychain, 3 bracelets, 3 straw caps. I love this flower one. 2 bookmarks, 1 worry stone. What color? I think blue. Next is 2 nail files. How about a butterfly and a leopard print? 2 sticker sheets. 3 mini beauty blenders. Let's do a brown, orange, and blue. 1 washi tape. I realized I accidentally skipped a book tab, so there's 1 book tab. And lastly, 1 mini notebook. I'm gonna do a green one. Also, don't mind my dog in the background, he's really loud. Okay, here are all the items. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye!
So I wanted to show you a smaller scoop. I didn't want to just show you all of the over-the-top 10 scoop videos, but as you'll see, this creator also has, like, one of her most popular videos is 10 scoops. It's actual insanity. Like, it's so much stuff. What took me out on this video was the 3 straw caps. What if you don't have a Stanley or one of those drink containers? And even if you have one, you don't need 3. Some of these products just don't make like, I don't honestly feel like she should be selling the straw caps in the mystery bundle if you could be getting 5 of them and you're just going to put 5 in. I think I saw her put in 9 before. It's just excessive. Like, it's excessive, and you would have to be like a very loyal follower to know that she has these, and to, if you're going to buy them, to make a request to not have them. And hopefully she would listen. I would imagine she would, or hope that she would anyway. And what's also clear about this content is people aren't just ordering 1 scoop. Tends to be a minimum of 2 scoops, and you obviously don't know what you're going to get. It's, I don't know, even the 2 scoop really illustrates to me they are random products. The worry stone also took me out because I do have a worry stone. I mean, it's a stone. She said stone, so I was expecting a stone, not like a silicone rubber kind of thing, but I'm hoping it would have the same effect. This particular account appeals more to kids and teens, which is something that the creator herself seems to confirm. Although you don't have to be a child or a teen in order to want to order from this store or appreciate the video. That, though, like, appealing to kids always makes my skin crawl, even when I don't think it's malicious. Like, enticing children into games that are gamified and also glorifying and glamorizing overconsumption and also consumption as entertainment. Getting young people hooked on consumption as entertainment is something that just worries me, because it positions consumption as like a fun thing to do. And when it's glamorized or just portrayed as entertaining and fun, we're not considering all of the ramifications of owning all of this stuff. not just for the person who's bringing in all of these things, but all of the resources that were expended to produce products that are ultimately a one-time pleasure rush. More on that later, of course. Let's now watch our next video. This account came up in June. Like, they posted one video end of June that was not scooping related, and then they made their first scooping video beginning of July. This video has 14.2 million views.
Let's pack a 6 scoops order. This is Madeline's order. She said she wants Chikawa. If no Chikawa, chose Sanrio. 2 gacha. 6 scoops. Hardcover notebook. Shoulder bag. Four notebooks. Three mechanical pencil sets. Six mini notebooks. Two mouse pads. Two phone holder. Two pencil cases. Three build blocks. One Gashapon book. Two DIY diamond painting. Two rings.
Those better be adjustable rings.
Three squishy. One cup. One coin purse. Pen or pencil.
I'm tapping out. I am tapping out. This is so much stuff that makes me uncomfortable. Like that box is flowing and she's not done. I think you get the point of this video and the commonalities and the kinds of products that they hold and the kinds of things people are buying. Also, how much stuff people are ordering. These 5-6 scoop videos are not one-offs. They are common. There are so many accounts that are doing this. I'm just going to highlight a few more to just show you that these accounts are just a drop in the bucket. There's this account that visually looks similar to the self-defense one we watched earlier. They started their account in June. This account posted their first video, or scooping video, sorry, in April of this year. There's this account that posted their first video in August, and this account posted their first video in August too. I don't want to give you the impression that nobody's been scooping or that this older style doesn't exist. You know, these two accounts are both gem accounts and they've been scooping since at least 2023. But the larger point is that there are tons of videos or tons of accounts, that have come out or emerged in the last 4 months doing this exact style of video. So why? Why is there all of a sudden all these accounts doing this specific style? I have a few hypotheses. This style with the beads has a lower barrier to entry, or it's a kind of business that a lot of people could open that has a low barrier to entry. You don't need a ton of expensive inventory. Yes, you're going to need inventory upfront in order to stock your shelves. But if you're using the bead style, you don't need to own as much inventory as what you're seeing in these videos. Let's say the bead pack that you bought came with 24 items or 24 different styles of beads. You could use 6 or 12. A lot of the stuff is coming off of places like Temu or AliExpress, where you could buy a 100 pack of stickers for $2. And then you have this proven track record, if you will, of people enjoying this kind of content, and it's relatively easy to set up. You don't need to show your face. But I also think that there's more interest in this content versus the scooping itself. The scooping content itself still carries, I think, some of the stigma of risk or some of the fear of risk that I don't know if it's carrying over quite the same with these bead videos. In any case, these bead videos, they have that proven track record. But I also think that when it comes to the scooping videos, you need to have a really large container. So you may need a larger space in order to have the container and then the inventory to go into the container to replenish it. And then it also an additional place to fulfill the order. But also that container needs to be well stocked, because part of the appeal of the container scooping is the visual impact of scooping in that vat of product. You're also more limited in the kind of things that you might put in the vat. Like, I think with this bead style, they're more independent. The products don't necessarily need to be related, and then you can carry more variety, perhaps, is the thought. I mean, technically, you could put all of these products in a vat anyways. I don't know how visually appealing that would be. So maybe that's why they're going the beaded route. So you could have a purse, but then you also could have bookmarks. And having that kind of variety appeals to a wider audience of people. And not all of these products are scoopable or would be scoopable together. I think also people visually enjoy like a similar product category being scooped. So you can carry a wider variety of products and then not need the same volume as you would in the vat of product. I'm also wondering if not physically scooping products is a way for people to distance themselves a little bit from the gambling concerns. I don't know if that's quite factoring into people's choices. It's just more of a query or something I'm wondering. Maybe it's just that enough time has passed that people feel comfortable doing scoops again. That could be it. So why the appeal? These Lucky Scoop videos are built on two main factors. One is volume or quantity, and surprise. These videos combine these things together. A high quantity, high volume surprise. This is also what makes these videos not about the stuff. This genre is really not about the stuff because you don't get to pick it. You don't get to pick what you're getting. You don't get to pick whether you get a notebook or a bookmark. You also don't get to pick the quantities. You could end up with 9 straw caps for a Stanley you don't have. You have no control of the outcome, and what people are ultimately paying for is the emotional experience of a surprise. You're paying for a feeling. You're playing for the pleasure of what am I going to get? What am I going to get? This is a highly pleasurable experience that is driving so much of the decision to make this purchase and to buy these items. You're also not paying for quality items because these are largely cheap items. They are quite often polyester or directly plastic. A lot of this stuff is going to break or has a chance of breaking. The very first account that we watched claimed that they offer curated items. I don't get this claim personally, how this is curated. I feel like maybe the thought is that I'm a store. In that sense, any store can call themselves curated, but you're exclusively selling mystery boxes or lucky scoops. That's not curated, it's random. It's literally random. That account charges $49.99 per scoop. They also charge $19.99 per video. This was a practice that I saw with the self-defense account at the time and has become an increasingly common practice as there are multiple accounts charging money to post videos. Another account charges $15.99 for each video or for their video to be posted. This account charges $33.99 per scoop and then $15.99 for the video. This account is a little bit less. So the first account that I shared the price of, they say 20 plus items per scoop. This checks out given that the person ordered 5 scoops and got 127 items. The $33.99 account, they get about 15 to 20 items per scoop. It can be tempting to say that $50 for 20 or 25 items is a good deal, right? It's less than $3 an item. And there are few places where you could shop and get a kind of deal like that. You could arguably go into the dollar store and maybe get some of these products, but definitely not as cute or aesthetic as some of these products are. Maybe you could come close, but the difference is none of these other places, barring Temu or AliExpress, where you may be able to buy these items directly, predicate their business model on bulk buying. You don't need to buy 20 items in order to make a purchase. In fact, the smallest quantity of items you could get from just about any of these places is about 20 things. It is not normal to bring in 20 new beauty or stationery or kitschy items all at one time. And all of these businesses, it's in the business model, it's in the name, they require bulk buying in order to participate at all, which is the thrill. So why is this a problem? Now, it's not a problem if you watch these videos and they are, you're living vicariously through them. They don't make you want to shop or purchase. I have no problem with that, watching them maybe for the ASMR style quality. This is more of if and when they become a problem, what is it? Buying things in such high quantity can blind us to the reality of owning and acquiring that kind of quantity all at one time. We can be so wrapped up in the pleasure of it all and our anticipation, we don't think about the practicalities and realities of bringing in 20, 30, 40, or 150 items all at one time. Where are these things going to go? Where are you going to store them and home them? Do you physically have the room for 150 items? How long would it take you to finish all of these products? Of course, not all of them are consumables, but some of them are. Would you want to finish all of these items? For the products that aren't consumables, do you already have things already like washcloths or mouse pad? And would you want more of that? Do you want 2 mouse pads? let alone 4 mouse pads? Do you have something you could use already? What might it be like, as an example, to own 6 mini bags? Would you want to own 6 mini bags that you have not selected and have had no input in on whatsoever? Well, yeah, chances are that you'll like some of the items. Chances are also that you won't like some of the items and you will not want to use and have no place to store or anything to do with 150 items. Or even if it's 50 items, there's an equally high chance you will not want to actually use or own these things, let alone like them. Buying more stuff, buying all of these pens and purses and mouse pads or water bottles will not make you a happier and more fulfilled person. You will not like your things more. They will not be more useful or better than the things that you already have. You're really not going to be a happier person because you bought 20 new stationery items. This is something that I can promise you. In fact, getting in so much stuff may just be more trouble than it's worth and actually cause stress and anxiety, maybe, if all of this stuff is overwhelming, or you bring in all this stuff and you go, what am I going to do with it? Or I don't like it. There's also repeats possible, and you just might be so sick of using these things, you just don't want them anymore, or you don't want them in this quantity. Maybe you don't feel that way today, but there's a chance that you might feel that way a year down the line or 2 years down the line if you're still working through your pack of 12 notebooks. So we need to talk about the gambling now, because this factors into this content. There are 2 definitions to gambling, and the definition is going to be on the screen now. It's playing a game of chance for money or betting. And number 2 is taking risky action in the hope of a desired result. I think it is more clearly number 2, because you are taking an action, buying a Lucky Scoop in order to get good stuff, whatever good stuff means to you, right? Like if we take the scooping out of it and we just look at a mystery bag, you want good stuff. You want things that appeal to you. That's like you're fantasizing or romanticizing what you're going to get, even if you don't have a clear picture in mind. It's also arguably playing a game of chance for money, given that you have no idea what you're going to get and you are paying money for a set of items you have nothing about. It's kind of a game. I have these 10 beads that I'm playing for. What am I going to get? It's game adjacent. Because there are so many options and you don't know what you're going to get, arguably you may have better odds on a roulette wheel with 50-50 odds if you're playing something like black or red, or evens and odds. It's not quite 50-50, but you get the point. It is arguable that this is a service and not a game. These scooping videos are a bit of a gray area. And I can speculate all I want about scooping the beads as a way to distance themselves from the gambling component or the gamified component. It's still the same thing. You're still scooping random stuff in hopes to getting good stuff, whether you're doing it directly in a vat of product or with beads. They're not strict gambling, they're in that sphere. It's gamified shopping is what's happening. Not all gamified shopping or game adjacent shopping is illegal or prohibited. Think about the mystery bags or bundles. It's kind of the same deal, or not kind of, it's similar, but these are less active. And I think people feel like more of a participant in the Lucky Scoops because they are a more active thing. This kind of gamification encourages people to shop and also encourages people to shop in quantities that they might not ordinarily. This kind of shopping also combines the addictive qualities of gambling with the addictive qualities of shopping. I am not saying that people who do this are addicted, but there are pleasure-driven or addictive qualities of gambling and shopping that induces pleasure, even if one is not addicted. And then you have these two things combined together that also reinforce each other. When looking at research on gamification, the research suggests that gamification encourages loyalty in consumers because they are invested in the outcomes. In one study, it was argued that gamification is a method of increasing stakeholder motivation, participation, and contribution based on the psychology and internal motivation of the target audience, resulting in the desired outcomes. In addition, gamification motivates and modifies consumer behavior to increase online purchasing. In one study, it was argued that the game components and narratives are used to completely utilize users' deep-rooted incentives, thereby motivating or modifying their behavior. This is supported by up to 98% of people agreeing with the premise that gaming will promote motivation and boost online purchasing, and 82 people absolutely agreed. When looking at gamification's ability to influence and incentivize action or behavior, it was found that gamification did impact end results. Some examples are increased reviews and comments on websites. Gambling is risky in and of itself because it is cognitively similar to drugs. Like addictive drugs, gambling activates the brain's reward system, which is powered by dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter inside the brain that reinforces sensations of pleasure and connects those sensations to certain behaviors or actions. Shopping is also a dopamine releasing activity. It has also been found to be cognitively similar to drugs. You get those similar releases, and it has similar effects on our brain to gambling. So they both have addictive and pleasure-filled qualities to them. Shopping also activates the brain's reward system. Shopping and spending money are dopamine behaviors, meaning that these are behaviors that on their own release dopamine in large quantities and make us feel good. Gambling adds another layer to that. The gambling aspect of this kind of content can intertwine with shopping aspects to encourage problematic shopping behavior. This is how people can get caught up in overconsumption, buying things they don't need, don't want, don't use, don't even like, arguably, because they are so caught up in the pleasure of it all. Or it can introduce new aspects or avenues to shopping that people never used before that can make the shopping more pleasurable. All of this can have consequences and can have impact on our behavior, and it may be difficult to resist or combat if you're somebody who's already prone to shopping, or if you already have pre-existing concerns with or problems with gambling. It can encourage impulsive behavior and repeat purchasing. In this case, buying 130 items at once is overconsumption, but I think I'm more concerned about the kind of behavior that can be involved with this kind of shopping more. It's worth reiterating that a lot of this stuff is cheap and random. It's not actually designed to hold up and last. And even if none of it breaks and it's all fine, having no real desire for the specific products can also mean that the stuff just ends up in landfill or sitting in your house anyway. And then it sits in your house for 6 months, a year, and then you donate it to the thrift store. You know, it's the shopping that gives the rush and the pleasure and not the stuff. I'm just going to finish there and say that for the last time. So to conclude, if you enjoy this kind of content, it's ASMR style, or you live vicariously through other people, you're probably fine. I don't personally love consumption as entertainment and it rubs me the wrong way, but that doesn't mean that it's universally negative and that you can't watch this content with care. If you do find that this content reinforces negative behavior or you feel itchy and want to shop, then this is probably content to steer away from. That's everything for me today. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this video. I loved having you here. I would love to see you back for a new video. We have some great ones coming up in September. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again around here soon. Bye.